We actually are the United States of Israel. We're funding everything for them. We fund
cut
everything.
this out, but Hitler was right.
Up next, we gotta check in with these MAGA YouTubers, the Hodgetwins, who just hosted a very extreme figure in a long, wide-ranging conversation that took a turn and ended up in a pretty dark and unhinged place. The Hodge twins, who are popular on YouTube and host a podcast, had Nick Fuentes, who is an alt-right influencer who is openly racist, openly anti-Semitic, extremely homophobic, openly sexist. And guys, I don't throw those words around lightly. I don't just call people bigots. With him, it's just indisputable. If you look at the things he said and the way he talks about groups of people, they hosted him. And I'm not against that. I'm not against platforming controversial people, but they didn't really provide meaningful pushback or disagree with him or challenge him on things. And it turned into just kind of a multi-hour chat session where they went back and forth and said some extreme things, like this bizarre sentence that came out of one of their mouths. Take a listen to this, and warning, this is dark.
That's when you think you know something.
You invite Nick Fuentes on your show. Makes you feel like a dumb fuck. Hey, man.
So that's why people don't want to interview you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what do people have to gain from interviewing me? I mean, you get
I'm
canceled.
about ready to just give up now.
Yeah.
Why even try to solve making sense now? You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy
Yeah.
how corrupt our government is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We actually are the United States of Israel. We're funding everything for them. We
Hey,
fund
cut
everything.
this out, but Hitler was right.
I'm not laughing. I don't think that's funny. I think it's okay to make extreme and edgy jokes, and like, I would absolutely defend a stand-up comedian who had some sort of joke about Hitler or the Holocaust in his stand-up routine, but like, that's not what this is. This is a political commentary channel. This is a political podcast, and just saying Hitler is right and then laughing hysterically, there's not a joke there. There's not a punchline. You're just saying insane things with the kind of cover that, oh, they're just joking. Nick Fuentes isn't. He probably actually thinks that and has said extremely anti-Semitic things and hateful things in the past. I don't know, maybe for the Hodge twins, that's just an attempt at a joke. But to me, I would never speak that way about such an evil figure who killed 6 million Jews and millions of other innocent people. And it just comes off as so crass, so attention seeking. Like, can't you bring attention upon yourself for something positive, for having something insightful to say, for being entertaining in some sort of positive way, not just through this lowbrow anti-Semitic shock jock commentary? I mean, it feels like he just said that and then intentionally left it in the episode just so it could get clipped and so people could talk about it. And maybe I'm playing into that. Obviously, I actually am. But to me, it's just a contemptible way to use your platform as a public figure, especially in a time when, you know, I have my criticisms of Israel, and I certainly don't support everything they're doing, but there's a real rise in anti-Semitism, and it is not warranted. And the Jewish people have endured so much over the years and are enduring discrimination and harassment now in many parts of the Western world. And so, look, I'll always defend edgy comedy in an actual comedic setting, but you can't just say insane, hateful, anti-Semitic things and then laugh after so you can say it's a joke. At some point, it's not a joke. And yeah, you know why people don't want to interview Nick Fuentes? Because he's openly racist. Because he's openly anti-Semitic, because he's crazy, frankly. And doesn't mean he shouldn't be interviewed if he's a person of influence, but it means he should be challenged, he should be held to account and scrutinized. He absolutely shouldn't be interviewed in this kind of way, where you're just verbally, you know, nodding along with him and agreeing with everything he says like a puppet, even when he says he doesn't want to live around Black people. Like, I would hope that you would have some self-respect to stick up for. I would stick up for Black people if someone said that kind of thing around me. Any sort of group being demonized in such a collective way, but especially if you're a part of that group, you got to have a little spine at some point and stick up for yourself, not just be a doormat for people that hate you. I mean, listen to this second clip. It's more of the same.
Have you seen people, they're actually calling you a Fed now?
Yeah, that's the new thing. Yeah. Didn't take long. I was a Nazi for 4 years, and now I'm a Fed. Okay. Can't win.
That's an improvement, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
At least the Nazi thing was closer to being true, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, but if you think it's better to be a Nazi than to be a Fed, to work for the FBI or the federal government in some way, you've lost the plot. Like, you're just crazy. I don't know how to say that. And I love how he doesn't even really deny that he's basically a neo-Nazi. He doesn't deny that he's a white nationalist. That's the thing I'll give him credit for, is he's open and honest about it. So that's why I think he's a horrible human being, but he doesn't bother me in the way that other people just like embracing him for clicks or views, or because they think it might generate some controversy or something, bother me more. It's like, don't you have any moral standards? Don't you have any principles? Or will you do anything for clicks? Like, is there any limit to who you would have on and just laugh along with as they say crazy things? Do you feel any sense of obligation with the microphone that you have? I would, but that's just me. Now, I will say that no matter how contemptible I find Nick Fuentes to be, the way that he has been censored and blacklisted by the financial system and the federal government is uncalled for and is frankly kind of Orwellian. Take a listen to what he describes about all that in this same interview.
No, I'm banned on PayPal, Stripe, banned from every payment processor, every bank. So I'm forced to deal with either e-check, in some cases ACH, or cryptocurrency. That's it. That's all I could do.
Wow, that is nuts, dude.
People can't believe it when I tell them that, because it's so, you think it's basic.
When you found out that when this happened to you, what reason did they give you?
They don't give you a reason.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's the worst part. Because it'd be one thing if they sent you a letter and they said, you said this, you did that. Here's our terms of service that you violated, because then you could contest it.
Right.
But they don't have to give you a reason. So I was on the no-fly list. Same deal. They don't even tell you you're on that. It's confidential law enforcement information. So the only way you find out is they just deny you boarding. And same thing with the banks. They just send you a letter. We're done doing business with you. That it's the opaqueness, which is the worst part.
So two things can be true at the same time. Nick Fuentes is a horrible person who uses his platform to spew just genuine hate and insanity on a daily basis, and he shouldn't be treated this way. Frankly, basically no one should be treated this way. Put on the no-fly list because of their ideas. So the federal government is restricting your right to travel, stopping you from going on an airplane because you're what? They hate your views? They don't like them? That's a huge First Amendment problem to me, because free speech includes hate speech or speech that we hate. And I might hate Nick Fuentes' speech, but he's still an American. He still has First Amendment rights. And then there's like a huge due process problem here, because the Constitution guarantees everyone due process in America. And it's not a due process if you're put on this list that restricts your right to travel, but not even told why, and often not given much of a way to contest it. It's a whole mess, that whole system that I could get into. But yeah, think whatever you want of him. Nick Fuentes isn't going to be a security threat going on a plane to somewhere. There's no reason to believe that. So they're just punishing him for his ideology. And the government shouldn't be doing that, no matter how odious his views may be. I feel the same way about the financial sector. Like, look, I don't want my banks playing morality police, and we shouldn't be debanking people because they have the wrong ideas. Payment processors like PayPal shouldn't be doing this. I know that they do, but I have a serious issue with that, and it's not going to stop with actually extreme or controversial or hateful people like Nick Fuentes. This kind of thing, once it starts there, it always creeps in and in and in, and I do not want these institutions. Like, do your job. Stick to banking, stick to transferring money, fulfilling an important service and function to society. No one elected you. No one declared you moral or political leaders, or gave you the right, or asked you to start declaring people beyond the pale and like deleting them from society. It's giving dystopian, it's giving overreach, and I don't trust these banks or these financial systems with that kind of power that I don't remember signing up to give them. Do you? I don't. So that's kind of my take on all this. I think a lot of these mega influencers are just becoming extreme for extremity's sake. They're just saying things for clicks. They're just, obviously we had too much cancel culture. We had too much censorship. Like, you couldn't speak your mind. You couldn't say the truth about certain things. But at the same time, like, now it feels like a lot of people on the right just have no standards at all. And while I don't want people censored, I also don't think that you should just, if anything goes, promote any message, associate with any person whatsoever, because that's a failing of your own integrity and standards. But that's just my take. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. And now we got to check in on a wild story, because a public school teacher is going viral after writing on Facebook that Trump and his allies should be killed. And some people on the internet are lauding this person as a hero. First, take a listen to some local news coverage to catch us up on this story. And warning, guys, this is alarming.
The post on social media allegedly by a high school teacher in Waterville has gone viral in a matter of hours and grabbed the attention of federal investigators.
That teacher making threats against the president and those working for him. That post just went up yesterday afternoon, and the teacher has made several subsequent posts defending her stance. She says Trump and those around him need to die, is a quote.
Police saying they are aware, and the Secret Service confirming to Maine's Total coverage they're aware of that post, but cannot comment on matters involving protective intelligence. The FBI telling us they can neither confirm nor deny.
We've also reached out to the Waterville school superintendent to get an update on the teacher's employment status. We have not heard back, though she is still listed on the school's website. And right now, because no charges have been filed, we are not sharing her name.
Yeah, so this is insane. I mean, look, you have every right to disagree with Trump, want him out of office, want him impeached, even locked up. But calling for him and his supporters and his allies to be killed is a bridge too far, is violent, is unhinged, and is morally wrong, no matter how strongly you object to some of the things that they are doing. Also, I will just never cease to be amazed by the stupidity of it all. Like, if you're going to post this kind of thing or say this kind of thing, are you really going to post it on social media with your whole chest and not expect the FBI, the Secret Service, to be knocking on your door that day? Like, you are threatening the sitting president of the United States and not exactly getting away with it when you publicly post about it. Like, even just from a logical, self-interested perspective, it's not exactly genius of the month type stuff. And I personally would not want somebody with such extreme views and such clear bad judgment in a position of responsibility or authority over my kids as a high school teacher. I don't know what this person teaches, but honestly, regardless, like, I just would not want that person teaching my kid or in a position of authority. I would be deeply uncomfortable with that. But even more disturbing than what this random one teacher did is the fact that a lot of people online are celebrating her as if she's some hero, especially on the internet hellhole known as Reddit. In a Reddit thread about Maine, one user shared the teacher's post and wrote, "Waterville teacher, an American patriot facing calls to step down by traitors over Facebook posts. They're okay with pardoning January 6 terrorists, traitors to our country and our democracy, but not with a Facebook post condemning the current fascist regime. I wish every teacher had half the courage and loyalty to our country as she has shown here." A lot of problems with this post. For one, the teacher did a lot more than just condemn the regime or the administration, which she would absolutely be in her rights to do. She openly and brazenly called for violence. That is a different story. Two, the people calling for her to step down or be removed from her job, you might disagree with them, we can have a debate about it, but like, they're not traitors for not wanting somebody who is seemingly unhinged teaching kids. That's actually, I think, a pretty understandable and reasonable perspective to have. And I was very critical of Trump's decision to pardon violent offenders in the January 6th riots. But the other side, being okay with violence, doesn't mean you should also be, at least not if you have any moral standards or integrity, rather than just trying to own the libs or own the conservatives at any cost. There was even more unhinged stuff in this thread, though. All the other people in the comments condemning this. Do you guys live under a rock? They voted just recently to deport American citizens, not just illegal immigrants. It's all fun and games and not gonna actually happen to me, though, until we are in the police state, just like El Salvador. They should all educate themselves on the dictators our own president worships and how they go about treating their own people. All free on YouTube. Good for this lady, though. Seriously, I feel for her, I really do, but we can't rely on any feds that are left. They are all loyal to Trump. Maybe not all the military, but unfortunately the FBI, the CIA, all of it clearly wants what Trump does when they collaborate with ICE, as they have been doing, and they arrest judges as well because they rightfully put Trump in his place. Babe, turn off NBC. Another commenter wrote, "The same people condemning this rather tame post are the same ones who have comment histories calling for violence against illegal immigrants and excusing all the vile shit MAGA does." So I doubt that. I mean, maybe there are a few people who are condemning this post, but also have said violent things about other issues in the past. But like, you realize two wrongs don't make a right? Like, it's wrong to call for violence against illegal immigrants, even if you support them being deported, but just because they do that doesn't mean you're right to call for violence. That means you're doing the same thing as them. You see that, right? And I don't really know how to reach some of these people. Like this judge that they're talking about wasn't arrested for disagreeing with the Trump administration. Tons of judges have done that, have ruled against Trump. And there's a lot more in this post that's just like unhinged and not true. Like the judge they're talking about here wasn't arrested for ruling against Trump. Tons of judges have done that, sometimes correctly so, in my view, and haven't been arrested. That judge was accused in a very serious criminal complaint of helping an illegal immigrant who was accused of domestic violence, I believe, avoid arrest by ICE by smuggling him out of her courtroom through a private passageway, which would be a crime. So if that's true, I mean, innocent until proven guilty, but like she's being prosecuted for an actual crime, not just for disagreeing with the Trump administration. So like your delulu is showing. Now I'd love to tell myself that this is just a few crazy people on Reddit. And to some extent it might be. But when you look at the polling, you do see increased support for political violence and people worshiping this kind of dark and unhinged rhetoric. And I'm really concerned about that because if it continues to spread and become more popular, I mean, that's the kind of sentiment that puts us somewhere down the line on a path towards open civil unrest and conflict, or even civil war. What do you guys think? Have you seen similarly unhinged things on Reddit in your own viewing time? Do let me know in the comments, and do hit that like button while you're at it. All right, guys, that'll be it for this episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please do make sure you're subscribed. If you aren't yet, do hit that like button before you go.